Jaquila Scales was last seen in her bed after midnight in September 2001. Her family realized she was gone a couple of hours later, and she hasn't been seen since.
We're not giving up. We're going to keep praying.
It's scary not knowing where she might be.
As the time keeps going and the hours is passing, it's getting harder and harder on me.
September 5th, 2001. 4-year-old Jaquila Scales went to bed at a home on North Volusia near 17th and Hillside in northeast Wichita. When family woke up, she was gone.
Our goal is to find the little girl, okay, alive and well. We're very optimistic. We're going to do that.
Dozens, if not hundreds, scouring the neighborhood.
That's the last field we're going to do.
Those searches turning up empty. And there's been no trace of her at all.
No trace. It's like she just vanished. Like she just, no trace, no evidence, no nothing.
Eureka Scales is encouraged by the community's support for her daughter, whom they lovingly referred to as Grammy Boo. Over the years, experts created an image of what she would look like around age 8, at 13, and 16. If alive, Jaquila would be 21 years old.
I don't want nobody to think that I gave up, because I haven't. You know, I live with this every day of my life, but it's hard. It's hard because I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she did. I don't know nothing. Nothing.
If you could say something to whomever that took her, what would you tell them?
Just let her come home, you know. It's been so long now. She's 21. She's grown. What else can y'all do with her? But let her come home. You know, we miss her. We love her. You know, we want her to home. We want her home.
Jaquila has a scar on her upper right leg and a brown birthmark on her face. Eureka says her daughter has a trait of sickle cell, and she's hoping that Jaquila may be getting ready to start a family and now might want to piece together clues about her true identity. If you have information that can help, contact the Wichita Police Department at 316-268-4220. The group had recently made an appointment to donate a $2,000 reward to Crime Stoppers, but that money will now go to any expenses that may be needed for Lucas's memorial. It's been more than 6 months since we first heard of this case, and I'm going to take you through a timeline of events here. Emily Glass first reported Lucas Hernandez missing from his South Edgemore home on February 17th. Glass was arrested 4 days later for child endangerment involving her 1-year-old daughter. Prosecutors say that she was high when she drove her daughter to dinner. In April, Lucas's grandmother hired a private investigator, David Marshburn, to help find the boy. That's the man that we just saw moments ago. And just last week, a Sedgwick County jury found Glass not guilty of child endangerment, saying there was not enough evidence to convict her. The district attorney, Mark Bennett, said at the time Glass remained a person of interest in Hernandez's disappearance. Then, late Thursday, a private investigator found Hernandez's body in a rural area of Harvey County. Stay with Cake News for continuing coverage of Lucas Hernandez and his story. We'll have updates on Twitter, Facebook, as well as on cake.com. Well, I know that the Kansas Turnpike, they said that as of earlier this morning, there was concern for people who go up I-35 from about South Haven to El Dorado. They had concerns for, and I'm not sure if it was a blizzard warning or a heavy snow warning, but they had a warning there. And then they had a warning from El Dorado all the way up to the Kansas City area for people. So it's just important to keep that in mind. Also, earlier this morning, even more powerful, some people sending us questions and messages about power outages. Up here on the northeast part of the state, they had about almost 4,000 people without power. Westar Energy takes care of the power for the people up there. They had improved those numbers as of this, I would say the 8 o'clock hour, because I've been trying to refresh and check in on things as best as we can. And they had about 1,000 people in probably the northeast and sort of this part of the state improvements, but those people without power, customers without power. Then checking in on another energy company, I believe it's Midwest Energy. I apologize, I'm not as familiar with that company, but I was checking in on what they cover, and they have more of the sort of central and western part of the state, and there were up to about 9,200
customers without power with them. A number of people from, anywhere from like Hayes, Dodge City, even all the way over to far northwest Kansas, saying that they were without power still, some of them without power for several hours. Jason from Russell saying that power's been out for him since 4:30 this morning.
Yikes, yeah. And conditions are deteriorating across north central Kansas over towards Salina.
Yeah.
Just got a report from Emergency Management into Saline County of numerous wrecks along I-70 just to the west of Salina, and that's probably why they extended that I-70 closure from Waukene all the way to Salina.
Yeah.
And we do have treacherous conditions. Not only do we have the snowfall, but we also have the wind out there. And it's gusting. And so we have
very powerful
blizzard warning still ongoing for all the counties in orange. That goes as far south as McPherson, extending over towards Emporia, and you can see over toward Dodge City as well. For Wichita, it's just a winter weather advisory, but it doesn't take a whole lot to cause travel troubles around the Wichita area.
We have had a closing, at least one that I've inputted into our system. And I would say overall, we probably have about 40 closings or so for all of Cape Land. A large part of them in either that area along I-70, but some other parts of the state affected as well. And some other people asking questions, like Missy this morning. She says she's supposed to fly out of KC, out of the airport at 5 this evening. I would keep track of your airline too, on top of anything with your child. I would avoid anything, maybe calling your airline and seeing if you can reschedule that flight. They probably might have a flight rescheduling deal as well, because once you have inclement weather, it just trickles down, that sort of domino effect with cancellations, delays,
and obviously check with your airline, but Kansas City is going to be the last place to see the snowfall end. So it might be best just to check with your airline.
Yeah, Lisa also asking, she has to travel to Kansas City, Missouri this evening, and she just wants to know how much snow they're going to get.
Yeah, that's where we're going to see the heaviest amounts of snowfalls.
Hey, welcome back to Good Morning Kansas. We're cooking with cake and we're having some fun today because we just love to have food on our show. So, for my family, Christmas Eve is a great tradition for us. That's when we have our Christmas, and I'm Vietnamese, and today we're going to make one of the dishes we serve there, and that's our family's fried rice. So hopefully I get this right, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry if I don't. My mom's Vietnamese, and she throws all these things at me, and I just hope to absorb them. I know how to make rice good, though, so that's all that matters. So we'll go ahead and get started. So I have some oil in here. It's been warming up on the pan. We want some hot oil, and then you're going to add your onion. You're going to fry up here just a little bit. We want to saute them and not get all Tony sizzled up here as well. But hopefully it cooks here real nice. And the thing I like about this fried rice is that, I don't know, it's versatile. You can do whatever you'd like with it, whether that's adding things like the ingredients we have here, including ham and shrimp. But some people like to put pork in them and other ingredients. Tony, I'm going to go ahead and get you to crack some eggs. If you don't want to crack them directly into here, you feel confident? Oh, look at this. He is a master. He does our weather forecast. He also tracks the storms for us on the road, and he cracks our eggs in the kitchen. Tony Lawbeck, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh. Spoke too soon. We love recognizing military heroes here at Cake, and we have the privilege of sharing this really touching story of a search for an old comrade. A Vietnam veteran who lives in California has always wanted to find a military buddy of his, so he tried to find his friend with a letter. The handwritten note went to a man here in Wichita, and it reads that he's looking for a guy named Jimmy Lee Porter. All he knows is that Jimmy worked for Cessna. He would be in his early 70s and was stationed as a drafter in Fort Hood between 1966 and 1968. The letter itself went to this man, James Porter. He has a similar background to the Jimmy that the guy in California was looking for. The younger man here, James, was touched by what was sent his way, but it's not him. He wanted to help, though. The veteran from California, his name is John Wash, and he planned to come to Wichita this month. So James, the guy here, knew that time was of the essence. James did everything in his power to reach the right people. He contacted the Veterans Administration, the VFW, American Legion. He even contacted me, as my dad is also a Vietnam veteran and a leader of a group in the area. James had worried, though, that maybe the man that he was looking for had passed away. But then, days into this search, James found Jimmy. This week, Jimmy and John, they reunited. Two friends who have not seen each other for 50 years. but certainly remembering each other in a very tough time. And as many as you know, military veterans, especially those from the Vietnam War era, they were not given the warmest of welcome homes. But these two, they talked to each other, with each other for hours. The three of them all together sharing an evening. The young James here on the left, John Walsh, or Wash, from California, that guy there in the middle, and the man they were looking for on the right in the orange, Jimmy Lee Porter. James and Jimmy, they share more than a name. Kind of interesting. They both have loved ones, immediate family members named Mary, and they both actually had worked for Cessna. James, the younger gentleman, shares these photos with me, saying you can tell the bond between these two guys. They've served in the war together. Everything very strong, stronger, he thinks, than many family relationships. I'm told, though, that this is the second time that James got a letter from John. But James wasn't sure what to think about that first one that was sent to him about 15 years ago. Certainly the birth of social media helped him in this search, leading to this really incredible reunion. James says that he's glad John persisted, jotting down everything that he could to do to find his friend. And James tells me, after he heard, the stories here, that he says that he understands the bond that these two soldiers have had with one another, one of the greatest experiences of his adult life. And he said that they were tickled pink to reminisce with one another, and certainly a small bit of time that he says can really change someone's life.
Healthy ideas.
Healthy ideas. It's good. Hey, we also have a safety warning for those who want to spend extra time outdoors, and we also have our friends with Beauties and Beasts Animal Rescue. We're talking about National Dog Day, and now we're not going to be composed to do anything. What are you doing over here?
Well, there was something on the table I need to get off real quick.
I'm going to clean it up for you.
I want to make this table look great,
I'm cleaning this for Blake. Weather, man. Tell us about the weather.
Well, Beauties and Beasts will be here tomorrow. They're an awesome organization. Hey, this morning we have a mostly clear sky out there. There are some clouds off to the south there, you can see from the shot, with some storms right along the Oklahoma border. It's 78 degrees right now, and we'll see highs returning back into the middle 90s. 96 for Wichita, 97 in Hays. You've got the wet wipes off. Okay, I'll take care of this.
Here you go, Blake.
Yeah. Hey, much better, yes.
As we head out for the morning, as I'm cleaning up here, why don't we take a look at this? We're talking about food. We like this food idea. How about this? The longest, at least Chicago-style hot dog.
You like this idea.
44-foot-long Frankfurter, a restaurant out in Chicago, putting this together. So a Chicago-style dog. Have you ever had one before?
I have not.
Well, here's the skinny on the Chicago dog. So it has onions, white onions, some bright green pickle relish, sweet relish, a dill pickle spear, tomato slices, and then also like peppers, but not like jalapeno peppers, more like those I don't know what you call them. They're not the hot ones. They have those on there. They're called sport peppers, and then celery salt. So.
Okay, there's no way that's one continuous hot dog. How do you cook a 44-foot hot dog?
I don't know, but I'm all for it. Chicago dogs are actually pretty delicious, so I don't know.
I'll take your word for it.
Whatever.
Yeah. You got the,
We've had some fun up here. I'm telling you, I was really cleaning this up. So we have a lot to look forward to tomorrow morning. Again, thanks to Number 7 Coffee House down in Wellington joining us in studio today. So good to see kind of a taste of Cake Land. I'm hoping to bring on more restaurants, more places in here. Give them a plug, have some fun. We're all about the fun here on Good Morning Kansas. Thank you for your time. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'll clean the set.
I'll clean it up.
For up-to-the-minute news and weather, stay connected to Cake News with Facebook, Twitter, and Cake.com. Cake News on your side.